but now I'm ready for you. The weight has been heavy. Say that you miss me. I know you're unsteady, and I don't mean to make this worse, but you need to hear these words. I think about the love you gave every day. I think about the hope you gave, then took it away. And baby, if you give me a chance, I'll give all that I can. I know I would risk it all. I think about
Please welcome Senior Vice President of Sales, Darren Johnson.
All right, hello, Melaleuca. Everybody, welcome to the live broadcast. Hey everyone, welcome to the live broadcast of the Melaleuca Fast Track. We're coming to you from San Antonio, Texas, from where the room is filled, as you can hear, with 2022 Quest earners, and they are ready, and we hope that you are too. So everyone, let's not wait a second longer. It's my honor to introduce a leader who has helped all of us reach our goals and has been doing so for the past 36 years. Will you please help me welcome Melaleuca CEO, Frank Vandersloot.
It's It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good.
Thank you so much. Oh, it's so good to be here in this same room with all of you. And I know that we have thousands watching and tuning in today. And to those who are tuning in, I want to tell you, thank you for tuning in today. Lives are going to change here today. We're on a life-changing endeavor, and today is the day. No, we're tired of this COVID thing. We're done with it. And that saying, that axiom, this is the first day of the rest of our lives, has never been more true than this moment right now. This is our time. This is the time we're on this earth. This is our life. And we're going to take charge. And there's a lot of great news for us, the members of the Melaleuca family, those who've joined up with us. This was the best year that we have ever had in our history. I will show you. Well, the rest of the world was all turned upside down. Businesses were going out of business, and we don't celebrate that. We have anguish for all of those jobs that were lost, and all the economic upheaval, and yes, the people that lost their lives from this COVID, and the political unrest, and all of that stuff. When all of that stuff was going on, you guys were out being the answer to the world's problems, or at least to individuals' problems throughout the world. And so this is how we end up. Let's show the graph. This is United States and Canada. Things were different in every single country, but we're just going to focus. This is a meeting for U.S. and Canada. So when COVID started up, that first, after they knew it was coming, Melaleuca grew by, in the United States alone, 144,000 preferred members in just 6 months. And that was last year. And usually, when you get that kind of rapid growth in any country, then it's hard to retain them. I mean, they don't know us that well, and then there's usually a sharp decline when you get retention decreases when you get. Didn't happen with us. Let's show the next graph. The best retention we have ever had in our history. That's the retention rate since 2008 up to this year. So it goes from 2008 up to 2021. Average retention in 2021 was 96.6% of all of your customers that ordered last month ordered again the following month. Unheard of, unprecedented, and that's where we find ourselves today, in the best place that we have ever been. And we did this, you did this, all the time that the rest of the world was upside down. And the reason it's happening is because people are seeking wellness. They're more interested in staying well, getting well, educating themselves. And the more educated anybody becomes, the more they're going to come to Melaleuca, because we have the goods. We have what they're looking for. We are a world leader in helping our immune systems be the best that they possibly can be. Now, we are going to launch a fast track today, and lives are going to change. Before I get into the fast track presentation, I want to address what's, the elephant in the room, what's been all on our minds, the things we've gone. This COVID deal has robbed us of 2 years of our lives. 2 years is a long time. If you consider that maybe, I don't know, everybody's a different age, of course, but let's just say that you're going to live 40 more years. I'm 73. I'm probably not going to, that'd put me 113, maybe, but maybe not. But let's say you're going to live 40 more years. 2 years would be 5% of your entire life. And during that time, our world changed in ways that we could never have imagined. People couldn't go to work. They were prevented from going to work. Maybe their work wasn't there anymore. They couldn't go on vacation. They couldn't travel at all. They couldn't go to movies, couldn't go to ball games. Kids were kept out of school, for Pete's sake. Couldn't go to church. Some of that's still going on today. We're done with it. And I'm going to tell you why. It's time to come back to life. It's time to come back to life. And we said that a few months ago. And we said it's time to have live meetings again. It's time to be in each other's presence again. And here we are today at Quest with approximately 300 people, 295 individuals, the folks that have had the best success, the people that have worked the hardest, the people who have been the most dynamic leaders at Melaleuca are in this room right now. This is covering the last 12 months. And we're here together, and it feels really, really good. And we need more of it. We are social beings. We need more of this. Excuse me. Of course, we had President's Club. That was live, real life. Last year's Quest, we celebrated, finally, after much delay. And these live events have been just wonderful. And it's wonderful to be in everybody's presence today. There's a lot of good news about this virus. You know, it's getting weaker. We've had these different variants. And I will say, I think we're pretty sure now, we're going to have COVID from now on. It's not going to go away. We need to stop hoping that it will, planning that it will, acting like it might. It's not. But it's morphing into ways that we think are really positive. You know, we had the original virus. That was pretty serious as far as percentage-wise. It wasn't like real high percentages, but the concerning percentages that people could get sick enough to die. Then we had COVID. That was still pretty serious. And now this new variant, this Omicron variant, really contagious, but not very deadly. We believe. Do you take risks? Yes. Is it risky? Yeah. But we take risks every day, and we can manage this. We take risks every time you drive to work. You take a risk every time you drive to the grocery store. I'll guarantee you, on that very same road, at some point, prior to you driving to the grocery store or to work, somebody got killed on that road. Somebody lost their life doing exactly what you're doing, and you know that. You get out of bed and you still go because we measure the risk. We don't say, we've lived with it forever. You know, heart disease, serious. Cancer, pretty serious. From those things, you can't catch it from somebody else. That's one thing that is really, but we've lived with it for a long time. And there are things we can do to avoid, to reduce the chances of getting cancer. Strong immune system, lower the amount of free radicals, we know that. Heart disease, there's things you can do to lower the risk of doing that. With COVID, there's things we can do to lower the risk of doing that. But the good thing about this new COVID is not very deadly. We've got about 80 employees that have COVID right now, this very minute. Melaleuca does. And it's been that way. It's kind of working its way through, and none of them have been seriously ill. None of them have been seriously ill. The only time we have lost, from the previous variants, we've lost a couple of employees. They've all been people that have had really compromised systems, real other problems. Immune system is everything. I haven't been sick until just real recently, for 2 years, 2 whole years. And feeling pretty proud of myself and pretty proud of our products. And so far I haven't had COVID, but I came down with the common flu about 2 weeks ago. I mean, a common flu, a common cold. Real light case, 4 days. And the reason I got it was my immune system was compromised. I sent out some pictures about, anyway, I was in a snowmobile accident. We decided we're going to take the kids, I'm going to take my kids, my grandkids on a snow machine trip up to the top of the Continental Divide there in Island Park. We camped out overnight. It was a big deal. We haven't done this for years. We used to do it all the time. This is the first time we're going to do it. And anyway, it's cold out. We are all suited up. We got 8 snow machines. We're going to climb the hill. The kids take off, and they know there's a trail, and they get out. I'm putting on my gloves still. They get out ahead of me, so I'm trying to catch up. I'm really hitting the gas, really scooting. I think that I'm going to be fine. I know how to ride a snow machine. Been doing it, for 60 years. I hit a rut, bang. I go flying through the air. The snow machine goes one way, I'll go the other way. My arm catches on the back of the snow machine and catches and yanks my arm. I feel something. It should have been a noise, because it wasn't a noise, but I felt something pop. Oh, I thought I broke my arm. And so I lay there in the snow, really, I thought, I broke my arm, and I've ruined this trip. Dang it, I've ruined the whole trip. They're going to have to take me down back off the mountain. And I've never had a broken bone in my body before. I've had lots of, spills. I got strong bones. And I thought, no, I don't think anything's broken. I can move it. I got to be really careful. That really hurts. And so I thought, okay, yeah, So I think we can keep going. So we get on the snow machine. 3.5 hours later, we get to the, we get to the top of the Continental Divide. And I said, you guys go play. I'm just going to sit here and watch you guys. All the way back down to several miles down to off the mountain. And then what happened is I severed this, my pectoral muscle, cut it clear off, just snapped it right off. And I think the extra, 3.5 hours caused some internal bleeding. So my whole half of my body turned black. And I sent out pictures, which you normally wouldn't do. It's not really that good taste to do. But I wanted to have an excuse of why my rowing times had decreased so much. And I didn't want people to think I was ready. I wanted to have a real valid excuse. So I just got the pictures. And then 3 weeks later, I was about healed up. And the bruising was turned green now, not black. And I was getting my legs, I could get up, and I was showing off to my grandkids. And we went to Hawaii for a week or two, and I was running down a hill showing off to my grandkids that I could do it, which I couldn't. I'd never been 73 years. I'd never been old before, so I didn't know what I could do. And running down this hill, I face plant, and I boogered the shoulder all up again. I got it turns black again. And I hit my knee swells up like the size of a cantaloupe, and now I can't bend my knee for 2 weeks. And then during that, and I get a fever, and I call my doctor. I got a hotline to my doctor. Wherever I am in the world, he'll take my call. So I say, should I be concerned about this fever? He says, no, when you get banged up like that, your body's recovering. The fever is about your body. I haven't been around anybody. So, but right then my system was compromised, and then a week later I come down with a common cold. Real weak, scratchy throat, not even a sore throat, runny nose, just don't go to work for a few days. At the same time, during that same time that I got the cold, Cole Klinger gets COVID. At the same time, he's out with COVID, I'm out with the cold. His symptoms are less than mine. He's out for, he's down, just very few symptoms, can hardly tell he has it. And the common cold, worse than, at least this case, in most cases of COVID, the common cold is worse. And we're shutting the whole dang country down for something now that has less consequences than a common cold. And we're done with it. We're done with it. Now, speaking of Cole Klinger, can we have the lights come up just a little bit? No, there's a little, right over here, Cole Klinger. Cole Klinger has been with me for 17 years. He's been at my side. His office is right next to mine. He's been in almost every meeting that I've been in, at least until the last couple of years. And in the last couple of years, we turned more than half of this company reports to Cole Klinger. All of finance does report to me. Legal and international and marketing report to me. Everything else reports to Cole. So he has IT, all the computer systems, payroll, business development, human resources, all of the regionals, Darren Johnson, Kevin Sommer, Andre, everybody that you know, all of business development report to Cole, have done now for a couple of years. He knows more about this business than anybody else in this room, including me. He knows operations, all manufacturing is under him, both that's in the U.S. Cole has just been promoted to president of Melaleuca Inc. So, have the camera, stand up, Cole. We got the camera here. Thank you. He deserves that, and Jerry Felton remains president of all of international operations. Cole is president of Melaleuca Inc., which means U.S. and Canada. So we're in good hands, and I'm really proud of him, and he's been doing it for some time. So I thought we should give him the title and the authority that goes with it. But yeah, we've been closing the country down, but because people don't know. I'm not criticizing anybody, I'm just making note. There's so much we don't know. So many people running around saying they do know, but they don't know. And they pretty much documented that they don't know because everything that they said was true 2 months ago or 2 years ago or 6 months ago turned out to be false. I don't think they're intentionally lying to us. I don't think so. Maybe some of them, but not all of them. The truth is they really don't know. They don't know what the truth is, and the truth is important. We at Melaleuca, we have a saying, the truth is good enough. We believe that people can handle the truth. We believe that it's important to know the truth. And unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and unfortunately, our politicians have turned everything into be a political endeavor, trying to get us to hate each other, disbelieve each other. Social media folks have now decided they're going to squelch the misinformation, which turned out in many cases to have been the true information, and social media, depending on their political leanings, are deciding what they will show and what they won't show. So free speech is now being really shut down, and I think that's a dangerous thing. I don't bring it up to worry you. You're already aware of this. I'm just saying that it's a part of our life and it's okay to talk about. That's all I'm saying. It's okay. We need to be able to talk about things without creating enemies of each other. In regards to, originally they said, from the very beginning, they said, mask won't help you with this. And then immediately, was weeks later, maybe a couple months later, no, mask will help. And then there was this big controversy, they do or they don't. And now we still have schools that won't open. There's not a lot of evidence. Either way, we don't know. I wear a mask sometimes, and I follow all the rules. I don't feel like, hey, that's taking away my freedom. I'm happy to do it, just like I wear a seatbelt. I'm happy to do it. But everything's political. Then I just want to point out untruths. Not falsehoods, perhaps, but truth is important. Remember what they said, if you take the vaccine, you won't die. Oh, no, if you take the vaccine, you won't even get the virus, remember. That was not true. Well, if you take the vaccine, then you won't be contagious. That wasn't true. If you take the vaccine, you won't die. That wasn't true. If you take the vaccine and then get the booster, then you won't be as ill and you'll be less likely to die. That one appears to have some substance. We'll see, because the vaccines now don't last very long, maybe 3 months. That's what appears to be the truth. But the truth is that we don't know the truth. And it's okay, I think we have to get used to living with not knowing things for sure. But if that causes us so much fear that we shut down our lives, then life goes on without us, and this is the only life that we are going to have on this earth. That we're pretty sure of. And it's time to move forward with our lives. So here at Melaleuca, we seek truth. We think we shouldn't get angry at those who disagree with us. We can love those who disagree with us. I believe that we can love those who disagree with us. I think it's important that we do. I believe that every relationship is too sacred to be sacrificed in trying to prove that we are right. In many cases, that's what it's become. People not seeking truth any longer, choosing which side they're on, and then trying to find evidence that support their line of reasoning. I think that's a big mistake. I think it's a big mistake because we could be wrong. We have to make decisions based on what we believe to be true, but we could leave the door open that we might be wrong, and that's okay. So with that, with the idea that it's okay not to know everything, it's still important to seek the truth. And with that, I want to tell you that our scientists are tasked with doing exactly that, finding out the truth, seeking, and they're tasked especially with finding out what are the best formulas to buoy up our immune system. That is what they're tasked to do. What ingredient, what extract, what nutrients, what's the proof behind it? What's the evidence that proves it to be true? That's what they're tasked with. And they're at it every single day, and we got some great scientists. And we don't only use our own. We're seeking truth wherever truth can be found. And so how important truth is to these guys and to us is, just tell you this story. We have a scientist, his name is Alex Wroblewski. And many of you know his name, recognize his name. He played a key role in the development of the Oligo technology. His expertise is in the area of free radicals and antioxidants. And he's one of the world's best. And he's been on our team for some time, and he helped develop Oligo. And a few years ago, we were going to announce it to you that we had this discovery, that we were onto something. We had applied for a U.S. patent, and I was going to lay it out in terms that, I wanted people to understand. So I talked to the scientists. In preparation for my speech, I worked for 2.5 weeks, meeting every day with the scientists, going over it and over it, and make sure I got the terminology right, make sure that I was explaining right, help people connect the dots. I thought if I just let the scientists explain it, the first time I heard it, I said, what? Tell me again. So I was going to put it in these simple terms. And in practicing that, I met several times with Alex Wroblewski. And one time, he was explaining to me antioxidants and how if you slice an apple and you leave it out, it'll turn brown, and that's oxidation. That's free radicals attacking the apple. And he says if you put our formula of antioxidants on that side of the apple, you dip it in it or rub it on, it won't ever turn brown. I said, okay, I got it. He said that would be a good demonstration, etc. So I said, okay, that's great. And then I had my presentation all put together. I was moving to, it was the morning of my presentation. I was in the hallway, walking down to presentation room like this, going to, do my presentation of the best discovery Melaleuca has ever made to date. I'll sit up, my cell phone rings. It's Alex Hrabosky, Dr. Hrabosky. We call him Alex. And he said, oh, and he has a strong German, or a strong Russian accent, and he says, oh, Frank, I'm so sorry. I said, what's the matter? He said, I tell you wrong. I'm so sorry. I need to be more accurate. I'm so sorry. I tell you wrong. I said, what? He said, I tell you that if you rub our formula on the apple, it will never turn brown. I'm so wrong. I should have said, it won't turn brown for a very, 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 very long time. That's more accurate. I'm so sorry. He knew how important it is to us and to him to be accurate with everything that we say. He was afraid that I was going to say, the apple won't ever turn brown. But also, that's science. Science is accurate, pinpointing. There's always exceptions. But I thought, good for him. Good for him, and good for all of our people who want to be exactly right. Truth is important. Accuracy is important. Now, let me tell you a few things that I believe are the truth. I believe that we have the best opportunity in this entire nation and throughout Canada and throughout the world. The best opportunity for the little guy to get ahead in life. The best opportunity for the little guy, the guy that was not born into wealth, to change their life and to become wealthy. I believe that. When I say the best, I mean the best. I believe that's the truth for the little guy. Now, there are other ways. I mean, you could hit the lottery, right? If you had the right real estate deal and you were a realtor, you could become wealthy just on one deal. You could climb the corporate ladder. You could have a career as an attorney and all of those. I mean, there are ways. You could become a doctor. And there's a lot of wealthy doctors. Or maybe a politician. But I'm talking about for the average person that was not born into wealth, we have the best way. The MLMs are all being exposed. They promised that. They never delivered. They never have delivered. Only the guy at the top wins. The guy at the bottom always loses. And now social media has exposed all of them. They're tumbling like flies. People coming to us by the thousands. People from It Works, doTERRA, Isogenics. See, this is just last month. CJ, never heard of them. Modere, Mary Kay, Life Advantage, Touchstone, and many, many others. All roads lead to Melaleuca. This is our time. This is our time. And I believe that this is a great time to be alive on this earth. And we're going to be involved with some life-changing endeavors. We're going to run a fast track. For those of you who don't know what a fast track is, here's what a fast track is. Fast track is a 3-month contest. Not a contest with anybody else. It's just with yourself and amongst your own team. You're not competing against your team members, but there is a team, 3 or 4 people. Fast track is not for everyone. Fast track takes dedication, commitment, and total resolve. It takes focus. It's not for everyone. If you sign up for a fast track and make a commitment to each other, then it's important that you keep it. Participants will all be on a team. I think there are certain rules when you think about your team. Kevin Sommer is going to come up and explain what the rules are in a few minutes. There are certain requirements. There's going to be a prize at the end. A fast track, it lasts for 3 months. Fast track lasts for 90 days. It's 90 days of strong commitment. It has to do with you commit. The first thing that we're going to is the most important. Not most important. One of the most important ways to start. The most important way to start your deal is to make a commitment to each other. You got to find people who are committed on your team. Because if the team doesn't go, you don't go. There's going to be a really neat reward at the end, but the real reward is changing your life. The real reward, I mean, we put the contest out there to kind of keep focused on a few things and track some things and have some fun. But the real reward is a changed life financially. That's what we're after. And this is how to jumpstart a business. We've done it over and over. There are many people in this room who got their start by Fast Track. There are many people in our history who got there by Fast Track. This is a life-changing event. We have proved it time and time and time again. You're going to commit to a daily meeting with each other, at least 5 days a week, that we're going to meet at a certain time. All of us are going to be present, and we're going to report. And it starts off the first day, we make a plan, we do the commitments, and then we implement, and then we come back the next day, or at the end of that day, and we report, here's what happened today. And then we celebrate. We call this, and then we make a new plan for tomorrow. And then we implement. And then we come back and report and celebrate. Plan, implement, report, celebrate. We do that every day. Now, there's been a group. We didn't invent this. We watched what had been successful for people. And I want to take us back 30 years to what was probably the first Fast Track ever and the result that it's had. And the first Fast Track was in the lives of Eddie Bestoso, Nona Pione, Tommy Pisano, and Alan Pariser. It sounds like the Italian mafia. They were not family, and they hardly knew each other. People said, well, they were the best of friends. No, they weren't. They knew of each other. They'd all been in different organizations in a company called Nu Skin. And Alan had done pretty well temporarily. His business fell apart. He was a blue diamond. And then it fell apart. And then Nona and Tommy had a little bit of success, not much, but their business was gone. And Eddie had been a dismal failure with Nu Skin. And Eddie was out. They were all in tough financial shape. That's what they had going for them. You may not have that going for you. And you got to think about that. They were down and out. They were in real dire straits. Eddie was, as Eddie tells the story, he was able to pay his rent for 3 months. He was growing toilet paper. I guess he actually went to somebody's house and said, "Do you have any toilet paper?" Could you hurry? He didn't say the hurry, that was me. I want to be accurate. And that's where they were. They said, go out and find a company. We let's find something. And they made a list. They put several things, and I don't remember, Alan, how many things on the list? 13 things on the list. They call them the success factors. They said a company would need to have these things. Let's go find a company. And they listed their 2 things. They didn't know who were. And I went out and tried to investigate how many companies. Okay, depending on who you're talking about. A lot of companies. Dozens and dozens of companies. And then they found Melaleuca, and then they sent Alan out to do reconnaissance on us. So that's a whole different story that to be told a different day, but that was someday. And he comes back and he says, "This is it." And so they say, "Okay, let's get together. I'm taking out." They decide they're going to get a little Mexican restaurant, and the reason they're eating there is because they can get chips and salsa for free. And they didn't have money, maybe enough to buy a soda, but that I want you to take, and this was what they did. And they came together and they made a pact. On their 30th anniversary, we brought them into Melaleuca. That was December of 1991. December 1991. We brought them in 30 years later to Melaleuca, and we had this little interview. They're going to tell us Pay attention. There's lots to learn here. Let's watch this.
We were all completely broke. We all had to drive about 40 minutes around Massachusetts to get to this one location, but
You're going to come together and have a discussion.
yep, chips were free, salsa was free, so that
We
was
had no
our
money.
lunch.
We had no money for lunch. We honestly had we did not have enough money to buy
That
lunch.
was our lunch.
Free chips and salsa if you,
Just sit there.
If we just sat there, we had
You sat there to get
Cokes
some
or,
chips.
yeah.
didn't you have to buy a soda or something?
Yeah,
I
we
think
probably
we
bought
did
a
that.
soda.
Yeah.
It was a cheap lunch. It was a very cheap lunch.
So you're sitting there,
And we made our decision to go.
Mexican restaurant.
Yep, we made our decision, this is it. We're
Tell us
going
about that.
We're going down the road, and we put our hands in a pot. You've mentioned that several times.
What does that mean? Put your hands in a pot. How does that look
We
like?
did a team thing that you'd see people, together.
Put your
Made a
hands
truce.
all together.
And
We made the commitment that day.
We made a pact.
And what was the pact?
That we were a team and that
We
we
were a
would build
team.
this.
We were never going to let anybody down. We'd be honest with each other. We'd back each other up. We'd support each other. And our goal was to make $10,000 a month.
And not leave anybody behind. We were going to get to 10,000 a month.
Yeah.
No matter what.
You're going to work as a team.
As a team,
1991, we were all broke. I was 3 months behind in my rent. We all had kids. We all had issues. We were down and out.
And how did you work together to support each other? Because the other thing I want people to know, how valuable it is to have a team. You had a team.
Yep.
If you'd have been individually trying to do it back then,
I don't think I could have. I don't think I could have done it. I
No.
don't think we could have got
so
We
you
s-
talk to each other how often?
Every night at 11.
at 11 o'clock at night. We worked together as a team, but every night at 11 o'clock we would call each other and we'd connect the phones and each one will report to each other. We get up the next day and I say, I'm going to beat that Eddie today.
Oh, yeah, we became
no, we
competition.
became a competition.
Friendly competition. There was never any animosity. There was never any jealousy because we made that pact in the beginning.
And some days I'm sure, when you reported into each other, some of you'd had a bad day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it seemed like
part of
Tommy
the ball
always had a good day, which was very upsetting. You could have had the worst day and say, well, let me tell you about my day. I just involved 4 people and all of them came in.
Do you remember any of those days really specifically that you can tell us about?
I do. I remember we got started, and there were, I think you could sum up 2 emotions that drove us: pain and purpose. Because we were all in a lot of pain.
Yep.
I mean, we could tell you individually how bad our life was, but we were all just bad. But we had purpose. And, you know, the purpose was to make this thing work. The purpose was to get to 10,000 a month, no matter what happened during the day. And talking to Tommy talking about how many did you contact, how many did you enroll? Well, there's a time that this one didn't enroll anybody. Now, everybody knows who Eddie Bistoso is today. He's the most successful marketing executive in the history of the universe.
But he wasn't back then.
But he wasn't back then.
No, I was the low man on the totem pole in that company. I was like,
And
these
Eddie,
guys were all chiefs. I was like, and I wasn't even an Indian. Yeah.
so Eddie was trying to get his sea legs these first few weeks, and that whole mantra about if I didn't enroll anybody today, I didn't do anything to build my business today. And I remember there was a period of time that he just went dark for 4 or 5 days. We couldn't find him. We didn't know where he was, and he didn't show back up until he had his enrollment.
Yeah, it's a very emotional business. Today it's emotional. People get emotion, and they get the stress here is self-inflicted. Like no one puts it on you. Your support team doesn't talk to you and say you better get going. And there's none of that. It's more camaraderie and more like a family. Without them, I wouldn't have made
I would
it
never
alone.
made it.
We all did.
I would never made it.
Yeah,
And the point is, if you don't have that kind of a team yet, you've been with us for a while or even for a long time, make a couple of outbound phone calls and get serious.
Yep.
And say, listen, it's a new year.
Yep.
I'm getting serious. I want you to come with me. Let's make a pact.
It's got to start with that pact, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
got to start with a real solid commitment. The fact that you actually touched each other's hands when you did that.
Yep.
You've told the story, Eddie. I know so many times I've kind of relived it with you, even though wasn't there. That was so important to do that because you had all these bad days.
And I'll never forget, Notice said to me, focus on the activity and not the feeling. Stop dealing with the feeling. this is our company, and I'll never forget that. But I'll tell you, I think when we hit senior, and that $5,000 check came, never had a check under $5,000 after that. I said, we knew it was real, but you can't really know. I mean, we
You get hit
believed
with
in
all
you.
these doubts, don't you?
Yeah.
You get hit with a bad day, then you get. If you
Yeah.
didn't have each other, you'd have all these doubts, and nobody could lift you back up.
one
And
of
one
us
thing, you
had
might
doubts.
think you can do it, but then you don't know if some of these other people can do it.
Right.
And then when you find out they can, it's very exciting.
So, I just think the dynamic of what you guys went through is so important for everybody to learn from, because if you're trying to go through it by yourself,
Oh,
and you have a bad day, if you hadn't had Nona to talk to that day to say, focus, don't focus on the feeling, focus on the activity, and to lift each other up. And,
Yes.
and somebody else would have a good day when you're having a bad day. It just, from what you've told me, had all the difference in the world.
No one sneaks up on senior director, and no one gets there alone. It's got to be a team effort. So
for
my
people who-
advice to people would be, if you don't have your team yet, have you really tried to put it together? Because that's so crucial to you, will be so crucial to your success.
And it's important that people don't lose sight of the point that the value of being a member of the team and being there for everybody else
Right.
is huge for them,
oh, yeah.
because they need to be there for you. So not every day is a good day. Not every day is wonderful. In fact, some of you may have had, I'm sure you did, all of you had a bad day
Sure.
the same day. What did you do? It's easier now because you know you're going to be a success. You are a success. You've had, I mean, you don't have hardly a financial worry in the world, but back then you did. How did you keep each other up or yourself up?
The 11 o'clock call at night did it. I mean, we all, and if it was a day when we all didn't do well, we talked about it, and then we said, look, we'll make it better tomorrow. But it's easier to do that when you're talking to somebody else than being alone, you know. So teams. I like teams.
Team was everything, wasn't it?
It was.
And making the initial commitment to one another that we wouldn't stop until we got there. And that kept us, that was the glue that really kept us, because you could have a really down week. But if you remembered that commitment that you made to your three friends
Yeah,
as a team, that would pick you right back up by the
Because
boot.
you'd be letting them down as well as yourself.
right.
And quitting wasn't an option then.
Yeah. So we didn't just make a commitment to ourselves. We made it to each other, and we kept it.
And to that point, like we keep talking about the commitment we made when we first got started. Number one, we had each other. But before we had each other, we had the company and we had the products.
So for the new person that's like maybe watching your story right now, I would point out, I want to point out to them, you didn't know 30 years ago that you'd be sitting in this room telling this story. You didn't know you'd have a customer that would order every single month for the next 30 years. You had to do that on faith. Now it's easy to look back and say, because you know all this stuff,
Yeah.
but you didn't know any of it when you were starting. And our new folks that's starting today, maybe been with us a year or two or 3 or 4 or 5, they don't,
Yep.
I want them to know that the future, the past that you've had isn't their future. That's their future.
Yeah.
But there's times they could have doubts. There's times they could have a bad day, bad week, a bad year, experience. They could be laughed at, ridiculed, told no, and their best leader quits. All of that stuff. You've all had that.
Yep.
You've had it a dozen times. But for them, they got to know that what brought you to this point where you say, yeah, together we've made 100 million and our personals have made over 200 million. It's because we kept going.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't happen. We wouldn't be sitting in this room if any of you had stopped. You would not have the successful financial lives that you have today if you'd have stopped.
The simplicity of this is very difficult for some people because they can't believe that you can make this much money just doing what we do. What's the secret? What are you really doing?
Yeah.
What's the, you're doing, I said, let me tell you something. If we were doing something different and it was making us a lot of money, we would tell every single person we know. There's no secrets here. It's the basic steps.
Adding to your list, doing presentations, making approaches, doing
Nothing's
strategy
changed.
sessions.
7 critical activities.
Yeah, the critical activities. But really, all we have to do is go to work. That's all we have to do. All that we have to do here is show up and say, we want to improve our life. We want to improve our friend's life. All we have to do is go to work. We don't have to worry about the products. We don't have to worry about the company.
And here we are today, and a company that hasn't even scratched the surface of what's about to happen. And, you know, we wake up every day, and we are so thankful, because I ask myself every morning, what if we had not made this decision? Where would our lives be today?
So when I say lives are going to change here, this is the first day. We're going to change some lives, or they're going to change their own. They changed their life by what they did. Let me add some credibility to the entire story. Since that day, since they put their hands in the pot, Nona Pion has made $4.1 million. Tommy Pisano has made over $16 million. Alan Pariser has made over $32 million. And Eddie Bestoso has made over $55 million. Their lives changed simply by doing what we're going to start here today. Let's take our takeaways from their message. They made a commitment. And yes, they said, you got to make the list. You got to make the list of your contact list, 7 critical activities. They formed a team. They said, we are not going, the commitment was, we're not going to stop until we're all making $10,000 a month. And now they make dozens of times that every single month. They make more money every year than they did the previous year. Their other commitment was they're going to meet daily, we're going to report back. There was no contest, there was no trip at the end of that. They were after a changed life. That's the substance and the evidence of what they did and the impact that it had on their life. And if you team up with someone and do the same thing that they did, you are going to get the same result. It happens every time. The secret is in the follow-through, the consistency, and keeping the commitment. Now, to tell you a little bit more about where we're going with this fast-track trip and a little bit more of the rules behind it, I want to introduce to you our Senior Vice President of Business Development, Mr. Kevin Sommer.
You know, I wasn't going to go here, but since Frank opened the door, sometimes people ask me, what's it like working for Frank? I don't usually say this, but I'll give you an example that this summer we played a couple games of water basketball. And since then, I have had the opportunity to go to physical therapy twice a week. So if we're going to do it, we're going to do it all the way at Melaleuca. Speaking of that, this fast track. The way we've set this up is we want everybody to earn the prize. Everybody. This isn't a top 50. This isn't a top 100. This isn't even a top 1,000. We've set it up so everybody can qualify. As I said, you're not competing against anybody but yourself. But before we get into exactly what the prize is, I know you're anxious, and I'm really anxious to tell you, I want to tell you exactly how everybody can do it. And that is by following what Frank shared and what we learned in the video, the success cycle. And the way that's going to work is every day you're going to meet together as a team and follow this success cycle. It works in the Melaleuca business. It's a proven principle in life. And so each day, as you form your team, you're going to commit to meeting a certain time each day and you're going to report a couple different numbers. You're going to report how many names you added to your contact list. Now that's an important piece to focus on that every day. Remember, the human brain is a powerful thing. And if you challenge yourself to add names to your contact list every day, I promise you that names will come to mind that otherwise wouldn't have. You want to keep your contact list with you wherever you go and continue to add throughout Fast Track. So every day you'll report names added to your contact list, and you're going to report how many phone calls you made, how many approaches you made, how many attempted contacts, whatever you want to call it. You're going to report that every day. And then what's after report? Celebrate. You're going to celebrate because maybe I got 4 no's yesterday, right? We're going to celebrate that because the only difference between those sitting in this front row and everybody else is they got more no's than the rest of us. It's important to celebrate, to lift each other up, and to build each other up. So we're going to report names added to contact list, how many phone calls I made, and then we're going to plan. And I'm going to commit to how many I'm going to call tomorrow, how many approaches I will make tomorrow. So every day we're going to report, we're going to celebrate, we're going to plan. Those 3 things that I just told you about will be reported each day on the website. The team lead will be responsible to make sure those are put in the website every day. And I'm also pleased to let you know that this year we have we've made the website optimized for mobile. So you can do it right there on your phone. Super easy to enter your numbers every single day. Names added to contact list, approaches, and yeah, Jill Parker, that one's for you. Approaches I will make tomorrow. So we know she follows through every day. All right? So why? Why are we going to do this? Is it really about a trip? Is it really about a prize? It's about what we just saw. It's about the opportunity to change your life. And let me give you an example. So we took a look at Fast Tracks in the past, and we compared those who met every day as a team and those who didn't meet every day as a team. In other words, those who met at least 5 days versus those who maybe did 2 or 3, maybe even 4. Those who met as a team at least 5 days a week and reported their numbers were 4 times more likely to advance their business. They were 6 times more likely to develop a director. They were 7 times more likely to earn the required points. And those who did earn the required points and met every day, they increased their check on average 57% in just 90 days. That's the power of the success cycle and teaming up and working together. And it's not about the trip, it's about changing lives. But since you brought it up, you want to know where we're going? All right, let's take a look.
It's the perfect tropical paradise. Pristine beaches, luxurious accommodations, exquisite cuisine, and the largest Fast Track celebration ever. It's time to let your hair down and feel the sand between your toes. Discover the mystical magic of Tulum, an ancient Mayan city and the home of the rainbow goddess Ixchel, where you'll be staying at the brand new Hilton Tulum Resort. Get ready as Melaleuca and the Fast Track 2022 earners take over the entire resort for 5 days of exclusive Melaleuca fun. Be among the first to visit this brand new resort. Nestled quietly in a private bay, this amazing getaway has beaches with exquisite white sand, soft as flour. The luxurious guest rooms are perfect for drifting away and relaxing after a beautiful day in the sun. With 13 dining experiences to choose from, the delicious world-class menu options will satisfy your every taste bud craving. Visit the optional 15 Treatment House Spa and Fitness Center, offering luxurious massages, facials, and body treatments. Or find yourself with a good book next to the enormous tropical pool with dozens of dreamy daybeds, umbrellas, and lounge chairs. But in great Melaleuca fashion, be ready to play, because we're going to have fun in a way that only Melaleuca can deliver. There will be loads of fun activities led by Melaleuca's national and corporate directors and Melaleuca's management team, like boot camp on the beach, yoga, fitness challenges, volleyball, and water basketball, just to name a few. Perhaps even salsa lessons. Looking for adventure? Head to the water, where you'll find free use of snorkeling gear, kayaks, and paddleboards. Along the way, you'll relax and build lifelong bonds with your Fast Track friends and rub shoulders with executive, national, and even corporate through presidential directors, along with Melaleuca's management team. Plan to join us as we laugh, learn, and grow together, and create memories and friendships that will last a lifetime.
So you probably haven't heard of this place before. There's a reason for that, and that is because it is brand new. In fact, it is still being built. It's not even open yet. So we're going to be among the very first to go. It's all going to be clean, pristine, brand new. One of the best parts about it is we rented the whole thing. Every restaurant, the conference center, every room, it's all ours. Now, this is a type of experience that you couldn't provide for yourself, to be able to go somewhere and spend time together in a place where everybody you see in the hall, everybody you see in the pool, everybody you see at the beach, everybody you see in a restaurant, they're all part of the Melaleuca family. And Melaleuca people are a special kind of people, and I'll tell you, that's an experience. That's a feeling that you'll get nowhere else. To be able to talk, to be able to network, to be able to feel the love that the Melaleuca family has for each other, it truly is a special experience. We want everybody to go. Now, the private bay I told you about, I really wanted to get a picture, but since it's not done, we did send our team down there to make sure everything's on track to be completed in time. We're feeling really good about that. But this is the best we had, is that entire private bay right there with all those buildings around it. That's where we're going. That's all going to be ours. So I did a search on Google. I thought, somebody had to have taken a picture before they started building. So I just looked for some random user photo. And this was just not a professional photographer. This is just somebody who visited that beach before they started construction. That's our bay. That's what it looks like, except for we're going to have the hotel all the way around it. So all right, so let's talk about points and how you can earn points. To earn the first prize, Prize A, which includes 4 nights, 5 days at the luxurious Hilton Tulum Resort, and all activities, you need to get 12 points per team member, which is a total of 48 for a team of 4 or for a team of 3. If you think you can do that with 3, you must have a minimum of 12 or a total of 48. Now, if you want airfare included, you can get 4 nights, 5 days, the activities and airfare, when every person on the team gets 20 points. And for 4, that's a total of 80, but for 3, they would also need to do 80 points. If you think you can do it with 3, then go for it. One thing that's important to note is, although we do allow teams of 3 this time, you can't change from 4 to 3 halfway through. So that hand in the pot decision, that commitment, is really, really, really important to get going. Okay, so how do you earn points? You'll earn 1 point for every enrollment. You will earn 1/2 of a point when you help those new enrollees enroll their first 10. You can earn 1/2 a point on their first 10, which is up to 5 points for each new personal that you help get started. That's a really important piece, because you don't just want to enroll 12 customers just to qualify for the trip. This is about living our mission, helping others achieve their goals. So as you enroll a new customer, help them get started in their Melaleuca journey, and you can earn 1/2 point for every person that they enroll during Fast Track. You will also earn 3 points for every new director you develop. Every new first-time director who has 4 during the qualification period, you'll get 3 points. So for example, if I were to enroll Cole today, I'm sure there's a lot of you who would love to enroll Cole, but I got dibs on Cole. I'll get 1 point for enrolling Cole. As I help him enroll his first 10 in the next 90 days, I will get 5 more points. He'll also advance to director, which means I'll get 3 more points. That's 9 points for enrolling Cole. And before I forget to tell you, we will have double points for the next week. So from February 1st through the 10th, we have double points on up to your first 4 enrollments. So you'll want to get your first 4 enrollments, help them get going right away, because you can also add these new members to your Fast Track team. Their numbers won't help you, their numbers won't hurt you, but if you qualify as a team and they get the points, that's great. They can also qualify. So it's important to, as you enroll these new members, help them get going, invite them to participate in your Fast Track team, and then you'll be off and running. Does it make sense? All right. Now, one thing I didn't mention is food, because the food is not included. The food is very expensive. The food is about $800 per room for the 5-day stay. But we're going to give you an opportunity to let Frank pick up the tab and cover all of your food. And this is how you're going to do it. You're going to do it by earning a badge. We're going to have flash challenges throughout Fast Track, and you can earn badges. These badges are going to help you earn upgrades. If you want an ocean view room, the more badges you get, the higher your upgrade priority will be. We're not going to tell you when these challenges are coming, except for the first one. And you can earn them throughout Fast Track. That will all be on the leaderboard on the website. All the details will be there. So to earn your first upgrade badge and all of the food, the fine dining package, all you need to do is meet together as a team your first week. So you get the team together. If you all report the first week you get started, we want to set you up to succeed. We want everybody to qualify. So as you do that, you will earn your fine dining badge, which is one step closer to an upgrade and includes all of the food. It's the fine dining, it's the snacks, as many meals as you want a day. It includes room service, all non-alcoholic drinks, everything. That's how important the daily team meeting is. Okay, so a couple deadline reminders. You can find out all this information on melaleuca.com/fasttrack, where the team lead can register the team. Registration deadline is the 8th. Double points deadline is the 10th. We'll be sending out some information because on the 9th, we're going to have a power hour, everybody together. And on the 10th, we're also going to have a company overview. We're all going to get together and have an overview together too. So we're going to help everybody get started right out of the gates so everybody can not just earn a trip, but change their life. All right, Darren, back to you.
Good job, Kevin. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Kevin. So now we're going to hear a story or two about how Fast Track really does change lives. And someone with experience with this is Senior Director 3, Alicia Purdy from Auburn, Indiana. Please welcome Alicia up.
A mom of 4 boys, so boy moms. I'm quite busy. I have all the things going on in life, sports, everything. I am married to my high school sweetheart who couldn't be here because he's holding down the fort, probably making snow forts. We had a blizzard back home and he's doing e-learning, and without him I couldn't be here, so his support is everything. I'm also a former teacher. I taught for 8 years. I walked away from teaching because I was tired of being on someone else's time schedule, having someone be my boss. I wanted time with my kids. And I walked away when I found MLM. And I did that for 6 years, made it to one away from the top of the company. I was begging, pleading for sales, and there's only so much makeup people can buy, and I had no residual, and it fell. And it fell hard. We were struggling to pay bills. We had creditors sending letters. We couldn't pay our mortgage. We were behind 3 months, about to lose our house. We went from living high to living really, really, really low. And a friend called me and said, Alicia, I think you need to take a look at something. And I was like, I'm not getting into another MLM. I'm done. She goes, no, it's not that. And I took a look. I watched an overview. And I cried, and I had chills, and I said, this is it. I felt like you had those God nudges, and that was a God nudge saying, this is your way to change your life. I enrolled right around Valentine's Day. I told my husband, don't buy me a gift. We're not gonna do gifts. I'm buying laundry soap. He's like, what? I said, just trust me. Just trust me. I enrolled right after Fast Track started. And I didn't know what it was. They're like, you're gonna do Fast Track. And I was like, okay, let's go. Because I wanted to change our life. I knew that if I just ran, I partnered up with people, I could do this. So I started off being like 0, not enrolling anyone in Fast Track. My first month I went Director 3. I just knew I wanted to change my life and I want to help change other people's lives. And then I developed a director in that time, and by the end of Fast Track, I had achieved Director 4. It was amazing knowing that I was now building something. I was building residual income, and partnering with these people in Fast Track, I had people to help hold me accountable. I had people to help cheer me on. I never had that before. And we taught me how to do the critical activities, which I think if I would have known before, would have helped me so much. So that really helped prepare me for how to build a legitimate, long-lasting business. And so one other thing I learned is doing this, you can go far going alone, but it's pretty lonely, but you can go farther with a team. And so that's one amazing thing about Fast Track is you're going and you're running together. And that first trip, we just went on it in September to Mexico. We went from being completely broke, never being able to afford a trip, and I know we're not talking about how it's just the trip, because it's so much more, but I never could afford trips. And now we had an all-expense-paid trip for my husband and I to get away. So that was an amazing thing. The second Fast Track, I was homeschooling in the middle of a pandemic. I pulled my kids out of school. I'm homeschooling 3 boys that are 11, twins that are 8, and I have a toddler running around. I'm a hot mess. I have hardly any times, but I fit it into the pockets of my day. I would get up 30 minutes earlier. I would work during nap time. I would stay up 30 minutes late. The list became like my lifeline. They're saying, take your list everywhere you go. I had a book, I wrote everything down. I tracked who I talked to. If I gave them an overview, were they interested? I would mark in my planner, follow up in 2 days or follow up in 2 weeks. So I tracked that. I went from starting Fast Track, the second Fast Track, I was Director 8. My residual income was $1,200. In that first month of Fast Track, I double promoted from Director 8 to Senior and doubled my residual income. And just months prior to that, my car broke down on the way to football practice. So my boys had to hightail it a mile to football practice so they wouldn't be late. But I was not planning on my car to break down. I was like, God, why is my car broken down the side of the road in my small town? Everyone's gonna think I'm so poor, and it's the worst timing. But God knew what was coming. He prepared, He let Melaleuca come into our lives because He's like, trust me. So that 2 months later, I hit Senior, we had that car bonus, which was such a blessing. And then just knowing we had that residual to help us out, my paycheck when I hit Senior was $8,400. I had never, ever had a paycheck that high. I remember shaking and crying, thinking, I can't believe this is real. People make this kind of money just helping people buy laundry detergent? Everybody should do this. But I'll tell you, Fast Track really just gave me the momentum to achieve that. And then the next month hit Senior 2. It's like, I mean, most of you guys have flown here, and if you've ever been on an airplane, you know that when the plane takes off on the runway, it needs speed to get off the ground. That's what Fast Track does. Fast Track's your momentum to get off the ground and get going. After Fast Track ended, we hit Senior 3. in the middle of the Fast Track, I was running with one of my builders who went from 0 to Director 2. And I had another person achieve Director. And it was just working together and just lifting each other up and running was just the most exciting thing. You're changing your life, but you're helping change other people's lives. And when you sit down, you're thinking about the points and how to get there, take the trip off, take all the points off, and just focus on how many people can I help? And if you focus on helping people, it happens. So in this whole process, we were able to pay off a student loan. We paid off our medical debt. We put money into savings. We took a trip on our own. We went from completely flat broke to just blessed and fortunate. And I believe it's because of doing Fast Track and learning these activities. So Fast Track can literally catapult your business. My mom always told me, because I know when we think about doing this, and a lot of people are like, it's hard, I'm gonna have to do this work, I'm gonna have to work with other people, I have to hold people accountable, I have to check in. It's work, but it's rewarding, wonderful work. And it's gonna be hard at times. There's days I got no's and oh my gosh, I wanted to throw something to the wall, and I might have. But that's all part of it. You're getting no's and it's not never. But my mom always told me, the hardest climb comes the most amazing view. And we saw those pictures of Tulum. You're gonna have the most amazing view after that climb. It will be worth it. You just need to decide to commit, say yes, and know that you are just one decision away, like I was, from a totally different life.
Thank you, Alicia. All right. Thank you, Alicia. All right, let's hear one more. Let's hear from Executive Director 2 from the beautiful state of Minnesota, Laura Mole. Laura, come on up.
I'm here for a good time, no black of my sunshine. So just go do what you like, 'cause you can live your best life too. I'm not that stressed out.
Hi. My kiddo's up there. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Okay, so I was introduced to Melaleuca 2.5 years ago, shortly after I had ended a very bad relationship and was going through a lot of things with that. I was really struggling to be able to pay for food, keep a roof over my head, and just support my kids. It was a very, very dark time in my life. I actually had to go to a food pantry at one point, and just having to walk through those aisles and have somebody else pick out food for my children was awful. So I was friends with Brianna Borchers, and she was so great, and she just talked to me about her past experience and really just held my hand through that. And she told me eventually, after me telling her over and over how awful this was, that she had something that could change my life, and if I could just trust her. And I was like, no, I don't have time for that. I'm working 3 jobs. I can't do that. But she said, trust me. And so I finally did, and I finally was like, all right, I'll give this a try. But I had no self-esteem at all after my last relationship. I was at an all-time low. I had absolutely zero belief in myself. I thought, I can't do this. I'm a nobody. And Bree and Kimberly McCulley just poured into me, and they borrowed me the belief that I did not have in myself. Every morning they lifted me up and they said, you can do this. And every time I said, I can't do this, I'm not a leader, no one would want to join my team, they would make me correct my words and tell me, don't say that, what do you say? And then I would say, I am somebody and I'm going to do this. So the first year of Fast Track was more about personal development for me. like I said, I had just a terrible mindset. And so having a team to plug into, to hold me accountable and make me show up, I can show up for everybody else in the room, but it's myself who I couldn't show up for. So I really needed that team to push me, and basically no excuses, and make me hold myself accountable. And then Fast Track last year was my redemption. I had something to prove to myself. I had worked on my mindset, I had fixed all of that, and I, at this point, just needed to prove to myself that I am powerful and that I can do really hard things. And I also wanted to show my daughters, that were over on that screen, you have the ability to change your life yourself. You don't need anyone else to do it for you. You can do it. And so the leaderboard for year 2 was my drive. I wanted my name at the top. And every morning I would show my daughters, look at Mom's name. The accountability partners helped me keep my faith. Bree and Kim continued to pour into me throughout that Fast Track. And I went from starting Fast Track last year as a senior 2, and then at the end of Fast Track, I was a senior 7. I went from having a residual income of $1,500 to a residual income at the Fast Track of $2,700. And it's actually kind of ironic because when I started Melaleuca, I told Bree, I just want to make $3,000 a month. If I could just make $3,000 a month, that would cover my bills. I would be able to stay home with my daughters, and I wouldn't have to worry. And now my residual income has grown to $7,000 a month. So I went from a food pantry, and now I'm building my brand new dream house. I've paid off all of my debt, and I have this amazing residual income, and now I am able to pour that back in and help fund that same food pantry that fed my daughters. I also have a personal senior director now, Madre Stanley. She last Fast Track went from D3 to D5, and this Fast Track, she's hoping to be able to bring her husband home. And so I'm so excited to see what this Fast Track is able to do for her and all of you too. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia and Laura. And now everyone, please help welcome back Melaleuca CEO Frank Vandersloot. Frank.
All right. Thank you. So I'm going to try to put a bow on this and wrap this up. Folks have been with us for a while, and we just spent an hour and a half here now setting people up in position to change their life. And I'm going to wrap this up. I'll be brief, but your life might be worth this investment. And I know that you in this room already know that, but I'm talking to the people who are viewing us from all over the country. We're going to pay attention to a couple of things. What to focus on right now? You got to build your team. There can only be one senior or above on a team. So you can't have all the executive directors gang up. You've got to help take somebody with you. I believe that's right. I'm correct? You have four, oh, I'm sorry. If you have 4 people on your team, you can have it up to 2 seniors and above. If you have 3 people on the team, you can only have 1 senior and above. The team's important. Who is on your team is important. The fact that you are on a team is important. Make sure that you are committed, and make sure they are too. The real important piece, remember what we learned from Eddie and Tommy and Nona and Alan. That commitment, that's how they did it. They actually touched hands. They looked into each other's eyes and they said, we are not going to stop. Promise me, we're not going to stop no matter what until we hit $10,000 a month. That was their goal. That was their goal. They kept going for almost a year doing that daily meeting, almost a year. This is only going to be for 90 days. So you might be looking longer than this with your team. They got it going, what they did it for a year, almost, not quite, almost a year. Meet daily. The daily report is crucial. Somebody drops out of that, boy, the thing starts falling apart. Don't let it happen. That's why we're putting so much emphasis. The $800 food allowance, you can earn that the first week by meeting, just really simple. Make sure you meet every single day and you report it. Every day. You meet 5 times that first week, you've earned your food and you're ready to go. You can all do that. But you know what? Life gets in your way. There's all kinds of reasons that maybe life will give you 1,000 excuses once you get going to stop. 1,000, maybe 10,000 excuses. They'll all be there for you. You can choose which one you want to use. But I will say this. First, I will say you can do it. If you doubt yourself, you can. It just means, can you keep yourself in the game? That's the question. That's the commitment. Can you work those 7 critical activities? Add names to your contact list. Make appointments. Do presentations. We're going to help you with some of these presentations. This is not like throw you out here on your own. We got a lot of stuff coming that we're going to keep. This is going to be a real social media active event. We're going to post leaderboards. We're going to cheer people on. We're going to give tips, and you work with your team. But the commitment is you stay with it. You can do it. All you have to do is stick to it. It is honorable to say no. If you decide, it's not for me. I don't know, I'm too busy right now. I don't know. My life is fine. It's honorable to say no. It is not honorable to say I'm going to do it and then not. So think deeply before you make that commitment, and when you make that commitment, really do. Now, to those of you who might say, life is fine. That sounds like a lot of work, and it is. To change my life? Boy, it's every day. I got to do something for Melaleuca. I got to work my business every day. Whew, it's too much. To those, because life's pretty good. Because I could live like this, maybe I'm okay. But like Jim Collins said in his book, From Good to Great, which was a great aha to me, the enemy to great is good. Those, Alan, Nona, Tommy, Eddie, they were down and out. That's what they had going for them. They were in bad shape. They really needed it. Life for them at the time was not good. It's harder when life is good to say, I'm going to make the changes to be great. It's hard. Because after all, it's fine. You got a tough lift. If you got to look yourself in the eye and say, this is the only life I'm going to have, why not make it a great life? You might say, well, I don't know. I don't need the vacation. I don't need to see the world. I don't need to get out of debt. I don't need a new car. I'm fine. Take another look, because this could be a great life. And that's what we're endeavoring to do. Now let's get out there and get it done. Thank you.
It's a new dawn. It's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day.